Should be live on the other computer, except I'm still seeing the old one. Did I really just switch? It says I have an excellent connection. No. Maybe I have to stop. Yeah, it's got COVID. Stop this stream. I think that's the case. Well, better to have quality, I think, than to have everybody grandfathered in. So I'll see you on the next stream, everybody. Hop over, look for a link. Thanks. Okay, let's see. New stream right there. Wait. Some people found their way, it looks like. Hopefully this is better. So sorry about that. I am not the kind of techie genius that most YouTubers are. See if I can post up a link to the old guy here. So where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Playlists. Should be here somewhere. Oh, this kind of thing wears me out. So, old video, new stream. Save. That should do it. Hopefully that is better. The laptop was kind of making fan noises like it was having a hard time processing. Certainly the iMac has more power for that kind of a thing. I was trying to avoid the pink tinge. It was kind of bugging me, but hopefully that works. My crop is different now, so you can see the unmade bed, but sorry, it's just the way it goes. Okay, well, there we are. Welcome back, everybody. So let's try that kind of again. I was talking about introducing the up strum along with the downs. So you have a down strum in, say, Just the Way You Are. Her eyes make stars look like they're not shining. But you could add the up strum that is already happening inside the down, and just brush your finger up the strings as you're moving to the beginning of the down strum again. So instead of just down, it becomes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And when we count this, it's going to be, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The number counts are the down strums, and the ands are the up strums. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Kind of like that. So let's see if we can do this and play through the song using down and up. Pull up my lyrics so I don't sing it too wrong. And give that a try. Okay, we'll jump in just straight to the verse like we did before, except this time, if you want to just stick with the down strum, it's going to fit perfectly in time with what we're already doing. So you can play either down, or if you want to try and add the next level of difficulty, you can go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's going to sound a little bit busy, But at this point, can't get too picky about what we're doing. We just, you know, give ourselves more options in the music, and as we go, it'll become more and more refined. And as you learn, you'll get some more strums that might be more appropriate than just bang, 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 bang. But let's try this now, because this is where we're at. Starting on the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know when I compliment her, she won't believe me. A minor, and it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay? I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. Okay, stay on C, next verse. Ah, her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates, but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know, I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. So don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are, the way you are. Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah, something kind of like that. So you found it. So with a song like that, I'm really pushing my voice. This is a really bad key for me to be singing in. I can't actually sing that high, so I have to kind of cop out to the falsetto sounds, which doesn't really work in this case too well. But that's because when you have a key is sort of a family of notes that works together. And inside that key are the chords that sound good with those notes. And basically, when you change keys, you can have the same relationship between all of the different chords and notes. They'll all be the same distance from each other, but the pitch of everything either goes up or goes down. In this case, the pitch of everything is kind of higher than I would like to sing. And if I moved the key down and played different chords, but still the same distance from each other, I would be able to sing it better. For instance, I'm used to playing this song and teaching this song in the key of F, where the chords are more like that. Her hair, dun 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 dun. It's the same sounds, but I'm playing different chords and the pitch is lower. So when I sing, when I see your face, I can hit those notes now. There's not a thing that I would change. So that's a different key. And when somebody talks about a key or transposing, it usually has to do with the vocal pitch being too high or too low and trying to kind of massage it into a zone that's more comfortable to sing. That's basically what a key is. But I want to teach that song in C because it uses chords we already know. They're easy chords. And so in this case, it might be a good key for some of you singing, especially the ladies probably can hit that no problem. But for me singing, it doesn't quite work. So that's a little bit about keys there. Just before we kind of call the lesson and I send you off to kind of go sit on that and work on those skills with the down and up. Let's try and add the down and up to the Hunger Strike song. So we go back to just C and F, we take away the A minor completely. And now we go back to about this time with our down strum. I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. And see how this key is a lot easier for me to sing in. I'm not pushing my voice. Let's add the up strum in there. So now it's gonna be, and this sounds kind of stiff, but we just want to practice the skill. We're not worried about too much how it sounds like. I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's the pattern. But I won't feed on the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. Yeah. But it's on the table, the fire's cooking. And the farming babies, the slaves are all working. Blood is on the table, the mouths are choking. I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry. So that steady down up rhythm, it's another really great thing to be practicing. I would take that and try and implement that on Hunger Strike and also on Just the Way You Are. And the links for those, the link for Just the Way You Are is, well, I guess it's in the other video now because we moved streams. I'll try and compile everything so that there's better resources in the description section, but we're kind of improvising here. We had to hop from one stream to the next to get a better signal connection. And it seems like it's a lot better. Isaac, what's up, man? And so Isaac actually is the guy that I started Live Ukulele with way back in the day. He's in Purdue hiding out, studying English stuff. Okay, so I think we'll call that the lesson for today. Practice as much as possible. If you can throw 10 minutes at it, you know, a ways down the road. Practicing all at once is good, but if you can spread it out, that's probably even better in a case like this, so you keep it fresh. Like a lot of times people say, don't practice for 5 hours on the weekend when you can play for, you know, half an hour each day. It's a lot better to keep the things you've been working on fresh in your mind and practice in that way, where you, even if you're practicing less, it's a lot of times still more valuable. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of that, hit up the chat. Gonna cruise along to kind of some Q&A, maybe move on to some more advanced techniques. I hope the stream wasn't too bad that you weren't able to get something out of the lesson today, but should be in decent shape now. Who disliked the video? All I see is the thumbs up, actually. I have the number of viewers and the number of thumbs up. It'd be bad for morale if they showed the thumbs down, I think. So for the advanced players, I did have some ideas of what I could talk about if there aren't any questions. I was sitting actually watching Seinfeld because there's nothing else to do, and practicing some sequences of scales and just running those. And I really get a kick out of this because it's a way to take a scale and just get so much mileage out of it. There's so many things to practice once you start sequencing. So just to keep it simple, let's keep the concept simple. We'll play on the bottom string, the A string, and play an A major scale. The sessions are supposed to end at 11 o'clock my time, depending on what we're up to and how it's going. So to play an A major scale, we would pick open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret. It's just this scale pattern in a linear fashion all along the string, okay? So try that with me. Open, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 11th fret, 12th fret. That's all in order, right? If I play that up and down, I'm playing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And if I play it backwards, same thing, just in reverse. That's fine. If you don't know how to do that, that's a really good thing to practice. You can practice the shifts we talked about yesterday, where you're going from the highest finger to the lowest finger. Okay, we'll review that real quick here just because I can. So if you're playing the A scale, 0, 2, 4, 5, when you get to the 5, you run out of fingers if you're playing it kind of in order. You usually, instead of just sliding a finger all the way up, you're going to try and utilize those extra fingers that you have. So if you're landing on the 5th fret with your pinky, you've maxed out your fingers, you need to either slide up, which is a little clunky if you're trying to play at a more advanced level, or you can shift. And when you shift, you're going to go to the lower finger, which would be your index finger in this case, on the next highest note. So if we're on the 5th fret with your pinky, and we need to go to the 7th fret to continue on in the scale, your index finger is going to go to the 7th fret, and you start your fingering pattern all over. That's a shift. And then from there, you would go 9, 11, 12. Right? So if I was to play it all together, I'm going to have one shift, and then at the very end, I'm going to fudge with my pinky and go up to the 12th fret from 11 to 12. So open, 2, 4, 5, 7 with my shift, 9, 11, 12. Okay, that's how you might normally play the scale. But what you can do, and this even is a better way to practice the shifts, is you could play 4 notes at a time in a row. Or actually, let's do 3 notes. 3 notes it's even more weird, and it's more useful for practicing our shifts. It's a little more contained. So if we were to take this and play 3 notes at a time, starting from the sequential notes in the scale, so playing 3 notes up from the first note, it'd just be 0, 2, 4, A, B, C sharp. And then the next note in the scale is the 2nd fret, so you'd play 3 notes up from that, 2, 4, 5. Then you'd play 3 notes from the 4th fret, 4, 5, 7. Okay, let's just try those 3. Open, 2, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 5, 7. And each time you're going to move up a little bit so that you start with that lowest note using your index finger. Continuing on, you would go 5, 7, 9, 7, 9, 11, 9, 11, 12, and you could stop there, or you could finish it off by going 11, 12, 14, and that could be your end. That's a sequence in 3s, groupings of 3. If you want to do 4s, you could do 4s, where you would just play up 4 notes and then go back to the next note in the scale. something along those lines. When you start doing something like that, you sort of lose your initiative to play the shift. And in this case, I would probably reach with my pinky, but by reaching with my pinky, I'm actually kind of creating a shift, because when I go to my next note, I'm just moving down a natural movement from my pinky to my index finger. Reach, and then I'm in position because of that reach. So it's sort of a different style of shifting. So you're doing the shift like actually a note after you would normally do the shift. So there's a million ways to take a sequence and make that happen. But if you already know how to play a major scale, I really encourage you to take it and play it in groups of 3 from each note in the scale. Play it in groups of 4. If you want a real challenge, you could go groups of 5. And if you take that and do it also with like pentatonic scales, that's the real dynamite for the crazy advanced players. The rooster is still here, absolutely. There are actually several roosters. Yeah, any questions? It's St. Paddy's Day and I'm not wearing green. I'm not Irish, but I know that will get me pinched. So yeah, my bad. Next time. I mean, maybe you could imagine the gold is green, right, on the camera. Oh well. I actually saw a classic video of a bunch of Irish musicians playing a traditional song and all video conference together and compiled, kind of like Playing for Change does, but a St. Patrick's Day celebration. It was cool. Okay, well, no questions coming in. So I'll play a little song. What should I do? Let's see. That was the missing link. Okay, this is a song called Le Pikake as arranged by Herb Otta Jr. Le pikake. Let's see. Favorite ukulele song. As far as like an ukulele song, a specific ukulele song, probably something that James does. His A Psalm Like a Bird is just so beautiful. Or Ode to a Frozen Boot is incredible. It depends what kind of ukulele we're talking about. Let's see. Any tips for playing the chord B minor? Usually with B minor, the trouble comes from the bar. It's not necessarily the reach up, though the reach up can compromise the bar as well. First of all, you want to make sure your finger is positioned correctly inside the fret. If you're reaching so that your finger is sideways, some of the notes are going to be played lower in the fret, and that makes it so you have to press down much harder. So if you can keep your finger even inside the fret and play up inside it, so that when you play the note, instead of being low, you're high inside the fret, that'll make it so you don't have to push down quite as hard on the bar. And as long as you're not muting the notes by playing too high up, you know, if you can kind of scoot your finger inside the fret higher, that'll get you a cleaner sound with less pressure. If you still can't get enough pressure, you can try doubling your fingers up so that you can help press with your middle finger. If you can get away without this, it's better. But if you really need the extra squeeze, that is a possibility as well. The last thing that can happen is the string can get stuck in the crook of your knuckle. So that as you try and press down, there's actually, your finger isn't as flat in the crook of the knuckle, and the string is disappearing in there and getting starting to buzz. So what you can do is you can experiment with playing with your finger higher up or further down, because then you can see if you can find a place where all of the two bends in your finger miss all the strings. Then you're not going to be losing any strings in those cracks there. And when you press down, you're actually getting a solid contact with the strings. And then when you reach, as far as reaching goes, it's just a matter of kind of hand independence and being able to hold the bar and get the finger up there at the same time. It's just a matter of practice. You can do different hand exercises, like, you know, finger games, kind of like this sort of thing. Just to get your fingers moving individually. My roommate in college used to do this crazy one. I don't even know if I can do it, but he would hold down 4 fingers on 4 frets and then reach a split pair up, and then reach the other pair up. And where am I now? It's a total brain teaser. Then move up. So it's kind of a spider crawl, and you have to think about what fingers are doing what. And by holding down 2 at a time, it's really super tricky to make your fingers work like that. But if you can do exercises like that, you're building that finger independence. And when you go to play a chord like B minor, it's really no big deal any longer. Chord transitioning. Any tips on chord transitioning? Usually chord transitioning is a matter of slowing down to see what is hanging you up and knowing exactly where you need to be going. Depending on what level you're at, it's very useful to hold a chord. You know, say you're working on G and moving from G to something else. Just playing the chord, I've found, doesn't necessarily get the shape inside your fingers. But if you hold the chord and one at a time lift your fingers on and off the string repeatedly, somehow it helps kind of glue the chord into its own unified shape within your fingers, so that your fingers kind of remember where they're supposed to go. So you go 1 finger at a time. You do your first finger first, just tap it on and off the fret while the other fingers stay down. You don't want to do this. This doesn't help. So you do 1 finger at a time. Then you would isolate your second finger and just tap your second finger while holding down the other fingers. And then the third finger. And if it's a 4-finger chord, you would do the same thing with your pinky. But I found that when I was learning a hard chord, by doing that, it would almost lock my fingers into knowing where they're supposed to go in relation to each other in that chord shape. So I found that super helpful for, not necessarily for the transitions, but for getting to the chord quickly, which is a part of the transition. But the other bit is slowing down what you're doing, and instead of just blindly trying to go to the next chord, play your chord transition and watch exactly what happens and exactly what is slowing you down and what the problem is. For instance, if you're playing to another chord and when you get to that chord something buzzes, try and figure out what buzzes and why. Is it because you are not holding down a certain fret hard enough? Are you covering another string with a finger so that it thumps? By just really analyzing it, a lot of times you can clear up those problems. But it's sort of on a chord by chord basis, I've found. How do you decide what strum to use for a song? That's a really good question. It depends. Each song really has a rhythm, obviously, but on top of that rhythm, I find as an ukulele instructor, the most success I've had in teaching strums and explaining strums has to do with a grid. And if you caught earlier in the lesson, we were just doing down strums. That's the most bare bones version of the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every song is going to have some form of that where it's just the down beats. If you divide the grid up and split each of those down strums into 2 pieces, then you can go down and up. Right? That's double of what just down is. You're adding the up strum. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And in 95% of cases, that's the most material you're going to need. The strumming pattern really comes out of leaving pieces of that out, just getting rid of certain strums. For instance, lots of people know the down, down, up, up strum. The motion is exactly the same as this. But instead of hitting every single strum, I'm going down, down, up, up, down. My hand moves the same, but I'm choosing to miss certain strums. And that's how that strum happens. A lot of times when you use a certain strum or this strum or that strum or a certain feel, all you're doing is you're taking away all the excess and leaving the most important points, the most important rhythmic touching points for a song. So for instance, if I was playing a song and the feel was like, maybe that down up is like where there's kind of a big pull and the whole band goes dun dun bum 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 bum, that kind of thing. You have to listen for kind of the overlying theme of the rhythm inside the song. So it really depends, and it takes a lot of experimenting and experience and just practice and playing lots of songs. But one thing you can do is, if you're just playing a song by yourself, listen to the recording and try and listen for what the different instruments are doing. And it might not be exactly what you want to portray, but just by listening to a certain instrument and trying to mimic that rhythmically with the strum, you know, where are they playing inside of a bar of music? You can use that as inspiration to give you ideas for a strum. But, you know, 95% of the time, you're staying inside the grid, and all that you're doing is getting rid of what you don't need. If you play all the time, when you do play, it's not as exciting. If I'm always playing at full volume, there's nowhere else to go. But if you bring it down, when I play the down, down, up, down, or whatever I'm doing there, it's more interesting because there's less elsewhere. That's the main thing to remember, is if you're always playing something, you can't make anything exciting on top of that. But if you take away when you do play more, it's more interesting. The rooster is annoying. You would not believe how used to it you get. I don't even hear it at this point. I've had roosters around since I was just a little kid, and it's just kind of what you hear all the time. What happened to Island Style? Island Style. I was thinking about doing Island Style today. Let's do Island Style tomorrow. How's that? It's a teaser for the class tomorrow. Losing my train of thought. But island style is a good way to practice the down and up strum and giving yourself a grid. And if you want to take it to the next level, like we were just talking, it might be a good sandbox for leaving certain bits out of the strum so that when you do play, it's more emphasized. I. Isn't it A-Y-E? I? All in favor? Say I. Connecticut is in the house. So yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. It's been fun. This is kind of a nice thing for me to look forward to. I know that a lot of people appreciate the help and the lessons, but really there's not been a whole lot exciting going on here. So it's nice to have a chance to tune in and kind of interact with people. But yeah, if you like what's going on here, encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't always post, but when I do, it's something along these lines. Sometimes it's more fancy, sometimes it's less fancy. And definitely check out the website, because I've got, since 2007, I've been running the website. So whatever that math is, I've been posting free content up there for all those years. It's been a long, long, long ride. But yeah, we had a little bit of trouble with the stream. Hopefully that's all dialed in. I know better now. It's a learning experience as we go. I got to use this computer. When I have a little bit more light, it seems like the pink tinge goes away, but I'll try and troubleshoot that, see if I can make the camera look a little bit better for next time. But yeah, please check out the playlist of this week, all this week's videos. There'll be a link for the next one tomorrow, and we'll continue on from where we were. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay safe. Wash your hands. All that good stuff. And yeah, keep on playing them ukuleles. Met you 10 years ago at the Hawaiian Music Camp. Yes, that was a long time ago. It's been a while. Thanks for checking in. I'll see you all tomorrow. Be good to one another. Aloha.